Most coaches and info businesses make this one mistake. They try to sell their product directly, and honestly, it kills their ad results. In reality, your ad should not even speak nor introduce the product. It should sell the mechanism, that is your VSL, webinar, 5-day challenge, name it. In this video, I'm breaking down exactly why and how to fix it using what I call the Russian doll offer framework. So to get straight into it, one of the most common mistakes that I see is people are gonna make an ad right here, and the ad is usually going to introduce the product. And so what are ways in which people introduce the product? For the example, and the sake of this video, I'm going to use Section 8 real estate investing as the overall offer and the kind of positioning of the business, if you want. So me selling the product in the ad is first and foremost talking about booking a call. So something along the lines of at the end of the ad, I say, hey, by the way, click the link below and watch this free training video, and you can then book in a call with our advisory team. So if I talk about booking a call or filling out an application, or I talk about the system that we have that can help you invest into Section 8. So I'm gonna just use Section 8 here as that mechanism. So what we're doing here is we're inevitably pushing people to already think about the fact that we're going to sell them something. And this defeats the purpose of having a funnel, because a funnel right here is literally a middleman. So what do I mean by a middleman is, well, instead of advertising the product directly, what most of us will want to do is we go add to VSL, or add to a webinar, or add to a 5-day challenge. And those are all mechanisms aimed at hiding the product. We hide the sale later in that funnel. And so instead of already introducing the book a call application or system, or to even speak of the product, which I so often hear people do, what you have to focus on is framing your VSL/Webby/5-day challenge as the thing in which you're selling the ad. So here's what I mean. Well, right here, if we're talking about Section 8, okay, I have two pathways in which I can create an ad. So path number one is, well, okay, let me break down what my product is. So in my product, as an example, we have 3 weekly calls, okay? So 3 weekly coaching calls, okay? I have 50 hours of, content, as an example. I have a investing calculator, as an example. And then I have a one-on-one financial expert, or whatever we want to call them, who can help you create a custom plan for your business. And that's my program, okay? That's what I sell. And so what I can focus on is I make an ad positioned on this product, and then I say, watch the free training and then book in a call with our team. But the ad in itself, all of its wording speaks of whatever it is that we position in that product. But the truth is, we should only focus on this part of the business, meaning the mechanism. So path 2 is this. If I decide to make a webinar, well, then I got to decide what are going to be the insights shared in that webinar. So insights, say usually where you're probably going to do something 3 to 5 insights in a webinar. So you also have to decide the positioning of that webinar. So in other words, that is usually a transformation that you're selling in here. So I'm just writing shit right now, but transformation is what you're selling people in that webinar. So what exactly is someone going to get by going through that webinar? So say in that webinar, you're going to show them, as an example, how to acquire your first property, okay? Now keep in mind, your product / your program in the background, of course you're gonna help them get your first property, but much more, right? You're probably gonna help them even get their 5th property, and money saving tips, and how to build an LLC to hide your money and not get sued by tenants and whatever. But truth is, you don't need to even speak of that if that's not the point of the webinar. If the point of the webinar is to help you acquire your first property, and you're doing so, say, with 3 to 5 key insights, which I could be doing right here as an example, forming an LLC. So form LLC. And then insight number 2 could be deal spotting. So the one trick that we use to spot deals utilizing AI, so on and so forth. Okay. So you basically start detailing what is the one transformation you sell in the webinar, and then all of the insights shared throughout that webinar. Your ads are about this, not about the product whatsoever. You don't speak of what is in the product. And this might sound super simple to some of you guys, but I've seen that being a very common mistake. Of coaches will say things like, hey, you should start looking into Section 8 real estate investing. There's this opportunity right now in the market, blah, blah, blah. I'm hosting a 5-day free challenge teaching you how to acquire your first property. And then you can work with our team, and we have 3 weekly calls, and we have 50 hours of content. You're confusing people. You're selling them on 2 ideals at a time. And so why do I call this the Russian doll method? And this kind of comes from Alex Hormozi in to some extent. So if you go Russian doll right here, what does a Russian doll look like? It looks like this, okay? So basically what a Russian doll is, it's those little like dolls right here where there's like one bigger doll that holds a slightly smaller doll that holds a slightly smaller doll, and so on and so forth. And so when Hormozi wrote, his $100 million offer book, which I'm sure a lot of you guys probably have read at this point, and if not, then I highly recommend you check it out. So the $100 million offer book, he talks about how that you need to have a dream outcome, right? So a dream outcome times the perceived likelihood of achievement, and that's divided by time delay as well as right here the efforts and sacrifice, right? Well, when you're establishing this value equation right here that you're making, you do not build it for that product. So it's not like, well, that course right here is going to, help you get to 30K a month in passive income from Section 8 real estate. You're going to achieve that in the next 30 days. We've had 1,000 successful clients who have done it, and you don't have to do anything because it's all done for you with our AI software that finds you deals and help you place offer and this and that. Okay, that would be me advertising the product, which again, we don't do. You need to build a value equation, which therefore you need to build an offer around your mechanism. And that's what you end up positioning in the ad. So if in the webinar, what you're doing is you're only helping them acquire their first property, that's the dream outcome. The dream outcome becomes helping them acquire their first property, not getting to 30K a month yet. So dream outcomes, how to get your first property. Perceived likelihood of achievement, it's like, well, how can I add social proof and trust to that single webinar instead of selling the entire product? So time delay, which again, a webinar is short, it's like an hour and a half. Through this hour and a half presentation, in 90 minutes, I'll help you acquire your first Section 8 real estate investing property with a little known secret by the top 1% of investors. And the subheadline could say something like, we've had 800 successful cases of people investing into their first Section 8 real estate property through this exact method. All you have to do is have your laptop and listen to our webinar for 90 minutes, take notes, and download our plug and play that we give only to webinar attendees, which will help you find deals on autopilot. Something like this, right? It's a super long way of explaining this. I'll probably make this much more short if we're the ones like building out the software. But the core gist right here, it's the Russian doll analogy that I'm having right here is this doll right there. I'm going to copy that and bring that actually to my board. So this, big doll right here is going to be your product. Okay. So basically, in other words, that's your product right there. It's doll number one. You might be doing this an example. And what I've done a lot of times with other clients is like, here we have an event, so an in-person event, and then we have a webinar, and then we have the ad right here. So let me just disregard those other dolls at the bottom. So the ad is the first thing that somebody sees. The ad sells them a webinar. We've created an offer stack for what that webinar is about. And then on that webinar, we're going to create an additional offer stack at the end of the webinar that will push them, say, to either an event or event could be either virtual or in person, which we've done many times. So the webinar then is positioned to pitch this. So the offer that we make is we're going to create another offer stack around the event. What is the outcome that we're selling people on the event? And how are they likely to achieve whatever is the outcome that we're selling them on the event? And how fast is that going to be? And what's the effort and sacrifice? And then once they're in the event, then and only then do we pitch them the actual product right here. So again, we go back to creating an offer stack to help sell the product. And so one probably will have to create various offer stacks to help someone ascend all the way to their product. The higher ticket the product is, the more of these you will want to do. And me making this drawing right here, and I don't even know if I can spin this around. I don't think I can right here on the iPad. This literally is a funnel in itself. Like you can see, it goes from like bigger to smaller in that case, but it's a reverse funnel because we actually start with the little dolls. And I put those right here because this is like the smaller the doll, the less money there is to be made right here, but the more people there are that we're kind of pushing upstream of that funnel. And here, this is where the big bucks are right at the end, okay? A lot of money to be made with our product. Whereas right here, this is where we have a lot of audience to push through that funnel. And so it's essentially we're end up with like funnels within funnels within funnels within funnels. Your ad is a funnel in itself, right? Because you have your reach, then you have your hook rate, then you have your hold rate, then you have the click-through rate, then you have the opt-in rate of that person, and then that's like the ad in itself. Then once that funnel's done, it passes it on, say in this example, to the webinar. The webinar will have an attendance rate, a conversion rate, so on and so forth, passing it on to the event, then passing it on to your actual product at the end of the day. The higher ticket your product, the more complexity / friction you want to have right here. The lower ticket the product, the less friction. You might be able to go straight from ad to product, right? You like any e-commerce business goes ad the product. The reason why us coaches, info product businesses and service providers don't do like e-com, which we go, hey, here's a $10,000 program, buy it now. Some people do, especially with like warm audiences. Like I've seen guys online like Chase Chappell, which is advertising a program called Ads Mastery. Well, I think it's aimed only for like Shopify and e-commerce businesses. If you go like link in his bio and some of his YouTube videos, you can actually like buy the program right away for 10 grand. But any ad, he runs you first through either an event or a challenge or a VSL funnel. You then have to book in a call, and on the call you then get sell on the product itself. So the higher ticket, the more complexity you have, the more offer stacks you need to create. And so the more your ad gets removed from the product, and then the ad starts to sell the middleman, which is the mechanism by which we then want to sell the product in itself. So if you understand this and you start creating offer stacks for every step of that funnel, you'll actually have a much higher conversion rate in each step of that funnel, therefore selling more of the product, funnily enough, by not focusing the product on the front end. If you want to use AI to fix all of this, to help you nail your offer, market positioning, all of your if you want to use AI to help speed up this process, so to fix your offer, product market fit, your funnels, the congruence between your ads and sales team, check out a link in the description down below to join my ad engine inner circle today and implement our AI ad engine system inside of your info product coaching or service-based business today. On that note, going to shoot an amazing day. Do check out other e-com and info product marketing videos on the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.